like as I'm like uh aiming towards like working at this thing that I really want to work at, which is like building a connection and ultimately, hopefully, a community like online. I I realize like you need to have like a base where people get to connect you with. Like you really need to. And I've already like heard a number of people or a number of digital creators like talk about this. Like I've heard a number of people say, you need to have like a base to which people get to connect you with. And then also I just remember just now like there's this one time I was listening to this guy like he was talking about how people perform in like society, right? Not like in a fake way, but like just how society has sort of evolved from the like evolved from the levels it was at, like from bells back dating the Buddhists like Jesus time, from that time till now, like there's this certain character that people play with, like there's a certain character that people play or like you know perform in front of your eyes, and then there's another them within themselves, like it's different, like the different like images, right? Not to say that they're separate from each other. I feel like the sort of projections of the other, like like the one that people see, like the one that we show people, like the one you might see me like perform from time to time, or see like identify me as from time to time, will be something that like maybe that I may have curated in a sense. Not may have, that I definitely have curated in a sense. And that's not to say that it's a fake thing, right? But it's a well identified or conserved. I don't know if that's a word, but it's like I yeah, it's that kind of thing. It's like a presentation I'm giving. It's like this is what I want you guys to know me for first before you get to know everything else. And so then that leaves the question, well, if that's an idea or identity that I've performed to the world, what is it that I truly am? Like where, like who am I really? Like who am I? That type of thing. And I know I'm going like down a rabbit hole right now, but like I'll connect to where I'm like starting from. The whole idea of like creating content and what I really want to put down. Well, because I've seen how like I need to just a moment. Okay, yeah. So what I was saying is that like I've noticed like on this thing of like creating content or just like yeah, like creating content and putting myself out there like on social media, right? Like using social media to my greatest good. So that's my aim. Like my aim is to be able to like use social media to like the best level that I can. And in doing so, in attempting to like in not really attempting, but like yeah, in attempting to like do this, I've learned a couple of things that I think like are very like are important, and I would like to share with you guys. Well, who else would I share with if not with you guys? And because you're the closest thing to what I want to like create, like what I'm aiming for, which is building a community. And yeah, the closest thing to my community. You know, you're literally my community right now if you're watching this. So yeah, what I've learned, what I've discovered is that as you're trying to like do like create anything online, right? And I'm talking about like personal people who want to like create personal people who want to create personal identities, not really identities. Well, it's identities again, but like personal brands. Yeah, that's the word. Personal brands online. People want to do that. This is what I'm like. This is what I'm about to like talk about. For someone who's trying to like build a personal brand online, you need to have like a base on which people get to like know you for, right? uh well, you don't really need to, like have it, you might not have it. Like me, I don't really know where I'm standing. I just know I am standing. That's the whole thing, like it's being there. And as you do, like as you participate, or as you continuously like show up everything, that base sort of is formed. That's one way. But if you want to go the harder route, the more streamlined, or what, more stressful one, I would say, is identify yourself already with something that like already exists. Or maybe just in your mind say, what, you want to be talking about what uh talking about, because for me, I don't really want it to be more like very curated. I don't want it to be like curated, like I want it to like be worthwhile, like for people to like be like, oh, this is good, like he prepared it good. You get, like I want that, like, but I don't want it to be curated to the point where it doesn't have a soul. Like I want to make mistakes, and I want to be like obvious about it. Like I want to be, like people should know if I make a mistake. I want like that. That's because for me that's the kind of stuff that I enjoy. I don't enjoy things that are very well prepared, like very scientifically curated. And nah, I don't enjoy that, because I just don't feel like that's human enough. Like not really human enough, but like that's not human. I don't think that's human. I don't think that's normal, because you don't want to like um it just doesn't feel right. Like I need to breathe. Yeah, you need to breathe, and I need to breathe. And for me to breathe, I need to make mistakes, because that's just normal for me. I'm not going to like play a character here seeming like I don't make mistakes, that I don't, like I'm not flawed and everything, or just juice myself out of life because I want to like sort of present this sort of good thing for the world and everything. Because I want to enjoy the thing, bro. Like that's the whole thing again. I want to enjoy what I'm doing. And for me to enjoy what I'm doing, I need to be me. I need to be me. But the whole concept of me is something very like it's yeah, it's big. It's flat out. It's wide. That's the reason why I want to like. That's the reason why I'm making this video, because I want to like sort of share what I think the idea of me is in terms of the digital world today, right? Okay, so like I was saying, back in the day, in terms of like Jesus, Buddha, yeah. There was some studies that were like noticed is that something that like we already know even like today is that human beings like we're far beyond this thing that we're like seeing, right? Like we're far beyond the physical. We're spiritual, and as much of a spirit that we are, like we're sort of connected to the one spirit, right? We may have our own spiritual identities, but like connected to the one spirit, which is like the entirety of everything. Everything is but spirit. Everything just exists. Energy, in a sense. So, because that's the fact, because we're all like spirit and everything, there's now a certain okay, since we've already known that we're all like one part of this big one, but like now talking about these individual ones, because these are the ones that like people or we are using to sort of connect with each other. Like one, like a driver, take for instance, a driver connects with the passenger on the basis of that was spirit. Like same thing, it's the same thing, but like it's presenting itself in multiple like multiple what versions, right? It's one spirit playing out the character of a passenger, and also playing out the character of a driver, or yeah, driver. I said driver, right? Yeah, driver. So because of that, because yeah, right? Where was I going with this? So yeah, passenger and thingy. It's one thing, but like playing out different roles, different versions. So on this part of the passenger, right? The passenger understands that, oh, as my role, right? As a passenger, this is what I do. I have to pay the driver. for the driver to drive me this direction, that type of thing. So that's the whole thing. Like this this passenger spirit understands that as the passenger, there's a character to be played, right? A role that he or she is playing. Same as the driver, there's a role to be played as the driver. But deep within, they know that they are not drivers. Like he is not a driver by intrinsic like existence, and the passenger knows that he or she is not a passenger by intrinsic like existence. Yeah, by existence. The basis of it all is that they're all spirit, and there's a much maybe a deeper way of explaining what I'm talking about, but like this is the only basic and only me way to explain it. Is exactly like two spirits or one spirit presenting itself in two different versions. So yeah, it's literally that. Then in relation to what I'm saying about the internet and like digital space, when you hear people say you need to have a base, right? They're talking about exactly that. You need to have a character, a role to play, so that when people meet you, when fellow spirits meet you, they're able to identify with you or identify you. You know, they might say, "Oh well, this guy talks about politics. This guy talks about politics." Well, in that case, if the spirit that you like meet, or if the spirit that meets you is political, they'll gravitate. They'll they'll gravitate towards you. In the sense that they also like understand or talk about politics, right? Then if you're into cycling or bikes and stuff, the same thing, right? So that's the whole point. And I knowing this again is that because also knowing this allows you to also understand, or it should allow you anyways to understand that you won't satisfy everyone, because just like a cyclist may not satisfy someone who's more into cars than bikes. The same thing with a pastor or a political person won't satisfy someone who's non-political. You feel calm, but it's understanding your role, like just understanding your position and then following that. That's the whole idea of what they talk about. You need to have a base, you need to have a niche or whatever. I think that for me, that's what I know. That's what they mean. That's what they mean, right? And for me, I found that this and uh, like I really like made use of it. I'm trying to make use of it. I'm trying to make use of it. One other thing is that, well, no, I really like, that's the thing. So because there's that thing of like playing characters, like for me personally, I haven't really like found something like I haven't really found the thing that I most value. As in, okay, I really have. I have found the thing. I don't think I even needed to go and look for it. It was just there. I just didn't observe it enough to give it the respect that it needs to get. And this thing is, like I said, we're all part of the spirit, right? For me, I can do the political thing, but like that's stressful for me. Like it's stressful because I feel like I'm being boxed into a specific place that I won't be able to breathe. That's the whole thing. That's the reason why I'm looking for something that like I'm more flexible for. Like this that we're doing right now. I'm just talking to you, right? And then I think that's the whole thing. That's the thing that like that's the thing that kind of may hinder me from like making fast progress or shooting progress. But like when my progress like hits, I know that it won't be something like that can be stopped, because it will be deep within, and it will be like a fountain just sprouting like just giving way to like everything. Why? Because I'm not even trying, I'm just being. Exactly. I'm just being. Oh, and the other thing about being, here's a funny thing. Not really funny, but like factual thing about being is that we're human beings. Like that's for me. That's something that like hits me deep if you don't like think about it. Me, it hits me deep. If a human being, like if you identify as a human being, and I suppose you do, unless you're alien or extraterrestrial stuff, but like if you're a human being, I suppose you are a human being. You are a human being. Not I suppose, you are a human being. By basis of being a human being, it means you're not a constant figure. I hope you understand what I'm talking about. Human beings be, they they are not, it's not being or will be. Like I mean, yeah, it's be, like human beings. Like you're being. I don't know if that, it's a continuation, if that makes sense. I hope it makes sense. Human being, like you're a human being. Hear me, like you are a human being. You get, you're not a human has been. You get, like you're not in the past, you're in the present. And being in the present requires you to like participate or continuously vibrate, like you pick up different forms. Like all these things are just like tools for you to like do all the things. Like for me, as I know, like I can literally wake up tomorrow and feel like I need to model. Like that's okay. Like that's okay with you, that's okay with me. Like, and I'm not like, and first of all, that's the reason why I say you need to like sort of ground yourself within the knowing first of who you truly are. I hope I say this. I don't know, I don't think I said it, but yeah, that's what I say. That's like grounded is that you need to know, you need to have a basis, whoever it is that uh and this, for me, this is the basis that I'm talking about, is that I am able to play all these characters, you know, that people sort of fixate themselves to. I think people only do that because they don't know who they truly are. They, and it's not their fault. This world is not like in a straight order way. There are a lot of like there's a lot of like files you need to like get through, to be able to like get in touch with yourself. Not everyone is in touch with themselves. Not, at least not everyone is in touch on a fundamental level of not attaching themselves to this physical world. Everyone in one way or another has been attached to something physical, in any way. Because from the time we were born, this is the part of being a sinner. Is like, and I know I'm adding a lot of things, but like, do connect, break it down, like, do connect. So it's that you abandon self. You abandoned yourself. Because who wouldn't? You're just a child, like. But the world was just gushing itself at you, saying, eat this, do that, go to school, do that, do everything. Not that all those things are bad, or any of those things are bad, but that they're just examples, and examples of what I'm talking about, like examples of the world getting you away from yourself, And so many times, so many, that happens so many times. If that happened like long enough, it became successful for you to like to really derail you from your own like self. You get. So yeah, so that whole thing, like, it's a thing, that whole thing is a thing. So like I said, you need to have your own like base. Once you have a base, you're able to like be comfortable with doing all those things. The thing also is just being able to show up. Like, again, if you think about it, like, it's really being able to show up, being able to like show up and like present. Whoever follows, like whoever follows. You just don't have to like really stress yourself. One thing that like I think for me has become stressful, or has taken me to a stressful side, is the idea of what, making a living out of this. Because how do you make a living out of something that like you're unable to like identify? Like for me, like I identify it as the many things, right? So how do you like, you know, how do you do that? Like how do you make a living? It's not an easy thing. Like it's not a thing that happens overnight. But I think, because I know me, I have this thing of saying whatever you like give out to the world, you will get back. Be it bad, be it good, it's all a thing, you know. It's all a thing, like karma or whatever you call it. But it's a thing. You get what you give, and you give what you get, and you give and you get. Don't, of course, don't do that like just to get, but like yeah, you get what you give. And so because I believe in that, that's literally why I get to like, that's the juice, like, or that's the force from which I am able to like show up, is that I understand if I'm able to like uh, give out good stuff, I'll be able to get good stuff back. It might not happen in the manner that I expect it to, but I believe it will be good. Yeah, so yeah, that was my little rant for the moment. But we'll get to see you on the other side. Hopefully we'll meet again. Yeah, I know we will meet again, because I believe it. I hope in that. So, yeah. Anyways, guys, next time